the thing we say is once a dog, always a dog. And
that strong alumni base and dedication to development is why the Fairbanks Ice Dogs continue to be a destination to play hockey. We caught up with the newest head coach of the Ice Dogs, Dakota Bell, as he shares what it means to get the opportunity to lead the charge on this installation of NA Now.
Yeah, when I got that call from Croft, and I was lucky enough to be at home back in Ohio and around my family, and just to be able to tell them in person was a really special moment, and have some friends and family around. And then just the history and tradition that the Fairbanks Ice Dogs have is something really special. And I've been lucky enough to be in it for the last 3 years now. So having my fourth year be taking the helm is something that I'm really thankful for and grateful for. And all the people that reached out and everything just meant a lot. So I'm really excited to be the head coach now.
Absolutely. What has your summer looked like ever since you were named head coach?
Yeah, we always laugh because we don't really have a summer, right? It's so busy all the time, and just getting to know all the new players really well, and making sure they're comfortable, making sure our veterans have everything they need to train and get ready for the next season. We had a great futures camp in Heartland, Michigan, and identified some future and hopefully current Ice Dogs from that. And then rolling into main camp in July in Prior Lake, had a really good camp, and there was some good battles there, and I expect those battles will certainly continue into training camp here in Fairbanks as the guys arrive 2 weeks from today. Actually, they start rolling into town. So it's been a very busy summer, but I was able to get away a little bit as well and spend some time with the people that are important in my life. So it's good to keep that balance always, for sure.
Absolutely. And like you said a little bit ago, you have spent 3 seasons with the Fairbanks Ice Dogs, with last season serving as the associate head coach, with the 2 years prior as the assistant coach. How does having those experiences inside the organization help you and prepare you as you take on the role as head coach?
Yeah, it's really good, the continuity. I think it's going to be really good for our organization and the people that help run the show here. And then our most important and most valuable asset is certainly our players, and the respect and the response that I've received from them since I took over from Ryan, who did a great job last year with us, has been tremendous. And I think that's going to help us be able to get off the ground right away and get running and going. And I'm certainly going to have my own twist and unique things on things, but what I've told the guys and the staff is we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We had a pretty successful year last season. We won the Alaska Club 49 Cup, which was very special to be able to do that in front of our home fans. And we made playoffs, hosted 2 playoff games, so there's no need to reinvent things, but I'll certainly have my own twist. And I think that continuity that you spoke about will certainly help us from day one.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you brought up that Club 49 Cup. With having a tournament like that for the Alaskan teams during the year, how special is that to kind of have that special little tournament between the 3 Alaskan teams?
Yeah, it's tremendous, and it's amazing. It's a big recruiting selling point that the kids think is special, and maybe even more importantly than that, like I said, our fans, and then Kenai and Anchorage's fan bases as well, having those little extra pump to the rivalry games is something special. I know they enjoy the challenge of coming into our barn at the Big Dipper, and likewise when we're heading down to Anchorage and Kenai, we know that it's going to be packed. It's going to be a brutal and tough environment, but that's something that helps shape the players as well as they look to move on to college hockey and play in some tougher environments there. So our league does a great job with that, and we're lucky enough to win it last year at home, and I'm sure they'll be gunning for us this year. But the greatest thing is the respect and relationships that we've built through even just that rivalry. It's all the 3 Alaska teams, it seems, have a special thing, and we tend to stick together. Even though the rivalry's fierce on the ice, off the ice, everything seems to go well, and that's one of the most enjoyable parts about it, is getting to stay together with the other 3 teams and making sure that we all take care of each other.
And I know you talked a little bit about this, but last season the Ice Dogs had success. They made it to the playoffs. They featured a 37-16, 3-3 regular season record and was ranked 2nd in the Midwest Division heading into the playoffs. What were some of your biggest takeaways and lessons that you learned from that season that you're hoping to carry onto this season?
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of turnover since then, not just on staff, obviously, but in the locker room as well. But were able to retain some key pieces as well. So a lot of lessons were definitely learned, and that was a lot of our players' first times. I don't think we had anyone on our roster that had no playoff experience going into that. So, our staff as well, as far as a head coach and assistant coach, and I know myself. I learned a lot, and the challenges and the differences that come with playoff hockey, and everyone talks about it, but you can't really know what that is like until you actually get to experience it. So that was great. And then from a locker room perspective, just honestly, the failure of not being able to win a playoff game is something that has stuck with us throughout this off season, and learning from that and making sure that we don't repeat those same mistakes in the end of the season and going into playoffs next year is something that if we're lucky enough to get into the playoffs, we'll try to make sure we don't repeat those mistakes and we make some improvements and adjustments from there.
Absolutely. And something that the league prides itself on is helping athletes secure those NCAA commitments. And I know this past season, the roster featured 12 athletes with NCAA commitments. How does it feel as a coach to see your athletes get that opportunity at the next level?
Yeah, it's really special. Even guys that, this is my fourth year now with the Ice Dogs, and guys that I coached 4 years ago that I got to know in that as the assistant coach, they still stay in touch, and some of them even reached out with some congratulations. So seeing those guys stay connected and then have success, the thing we say is once a dog, always a dog, and that remains very true with our alumni base. And having guys play the Division I and Division III level at college hockey is really special. And we've obviously been lucky enough to have a ton of players move on and advance, and that's just part of the development in our philosophy. So it's really cool, and we've again been lucky enough to have even some of those guys come back at our futures camps and main camps, and whether it's helping out on the ice or just being a part of the introducing them in the locker room, maybe having them hop on a Zoom call. It's the reception and their want to give back is something really special, and I think the league does a great job of marketing, the guys and their commitments, and it just makes everyone feel like it's one big family, really. So it's a special thing. There's no question about that.
Absolutely. And I know you just touched on main camp. Main camp wrapped up a few weeks ago. What has impressed you the most from the athletes you have seen from that?
Yeah, I think we have the most important thing is I think we've added a ton of hockey sense this year. I think we tried to target that with some of our tenders and find guys that really are cerebral and think the game well. We've done that. And then, another thing on the ice is our team speed, I think, is really good. And we have some toughness that we've added. It was, like I said, some really good battles at main camp that will continue into training camp. But just our ability to get up and down the sheet is something that I'm really going to focus on. And I was pretty excited about what we have so far with that. And off the ice, I've been telling everyone around the team that I've been really impressed with the smarts in that and the grades that our players have. And I think that's a really key piece to touch on the commitment side that you just talked about as well. So hopefully that off-ice smarts and in the classroom helps lead to smarts and success on the ice.
Absolutely. And with the veterans that are coming back, how important is it to have those athletes in the locker room to help guide the new athletes to the organization?
Yeah, that's a crucial piece, and a guy that comes to mind right away is Luca Riccardi. He's this will be his third year in the league. He's played over 120 games. He'll wear a letter for us and be one of those voices inside the locker room that when he speaks and Luca talks, everyone's going to listen, and he's going to be almost an extended part of our coaching staff. And I'll certainly lean on him, and we'll help him as he gets his Division I commitment and helps lead us to success. So he'll be a big piece. And then a guy like Gage Leonard that's committed to University of Alaska Fairbanks already, over 100 games in the league, a 2-year guy, as only a 2006. It's impressive what he's done already, so he'll be a really good piece to that. And then we have some Fairbanks kids as well that actually have like lived and breathed and would do anything to be an ice dog. And now, like Mason Noble and Chris Hodges, those guys have the chance to continue and to do that for the first time for a full year. So it's something really special. And I think those guys will be good voices to help lead the rest of the troops.
Last year, I'm glad you talked about the Fairbanks athletes. Last year, I got the opportunity to talk to one of your goaltenders, Charlie Menard, and he's a Fairbanks kid, and he grew up going to the games, and he talked about the environment of playing inside the Big Dipper Ice Arena. For people at home, can you explain what the fan base is like, and especially the atmosphere that Fairbanks brings in?
Well, I will attempt to explain it, but when I first jumped on, the only thing I heard was, oh, just wait till you see your first game or you step on the bench. Like, you're not going to be prepared for it. And I'm like, well, I'm sure it's amazing. And I was, very complimentary, but I'm like, it can't be. And then, we stepped on the bench. I think it was against Anchorage my very first time. And there was a fight about 2 minutes into it. The crowd's going bananas. And I'm like, all right, I see what this is about. And so it is very special. It's a, rabid fan base. And the coolest part that we always talk about, within our office doors and that is, whether we have a success or failure, they're there until the very end. And there's, hundreds, if not 1,000 people standing in the lobby after the game, win or loss, and they want to shake the guys' hands, tell them thanks for, putting on a good product on the ice and signing autographs. And it is something that we're very special and lucky and fortunate to have. And I think it's the driving factor behind, the logo, and that is this fan base. And just as you said, like asking the question even just means that it's something that is widely known and respected around the league. So I'm very thankful to be able to stay on the bench behind and in front of those fans for sure.
And with that, as an organization, is there a special tradition or an event that the Ice Dogs put on that people at home need to keep an eye out for?
Training camp is right around the corner. We do 3 scrimmages that are open to the public at those times. So having guys there is really special. Having families come out, maybe some little kids and that, getting to see a game. We get about half full for our training camp scrimmages. So like you said, the fan base is special in that way. And then, another thing that's really special and unique to us is our Ice Dogs golf outing that we do. That's always packed full of fans and sponsors, and our guys are there. Luckily, they're not playing. They're just watching and hanging out and shaking hands. But they certainly get to watch me play and get to laugh at my golf swing. So it's definitely an event worth keeping an eye on.
And while talking about playing in Fairbanks, what makes Fairbanks a destination to play hockey in? And talk to me about the player experience of getting the opportunity to play for that organization.
Yeah, as you spoke about, and I won't, belabor the point, but the fan base is certainly number one. With that goes the Big Dipper, and playing in our rink is really unique and a cool thing. And everyone, we talked about the alumni base earlier, and I just think the alumni base and everyone that speaks so highly of us treating our players, first class, and as pros, we expect them to handle themselves as pros, but then in return, we have to make sure we're giving them the resources and tools and coaching and environment and all that stuff to make us have them be pros as well. So that kind of makes it unique and special. And, our travel is really unique. Obviously, being in Alaska, we spoke about the rivalry earlier with the 3 Alaska teams, but we say we travel like professionals as well. We fly everywhere. Guys get their air miles, so they can go on a nice little vacation maybe in the summer. And but it truly gets you ready for college hockey and to be a professional hockey player. Hopefully that's our end goal, right? So it gets you ready for that and gets your body and mind in a spot to have to balance. Some guys, we're pretty young, so we have quite a few guys that'll be in high school this year. A couple age outs that'll be taking college courses. So the guys having to balance that with our travel and making sure their nutrition and their bodies are right and everything is a lot, but I think it just helps prepare them for the next level, certainly.
Absolutely. And as you look ahead for this upcoming year, what are your main goals?
Yeah, I've told the guys this and our staff as well, but I do think goals are important individually to set those. And obviously I have some of those that I have in the back of my mind, but the number one thing I think for our guys and for our group right now is just every day we have to get a little bit better and make sure that our habits and our details are really consistent. And as long as we're getting better every day, then at the end of the year, hopefully we have a chance to do something special, because the bottom line is right now we have 34, 35 teams, whatever that number is, are all they want two things. They want to get as many guys committed Division I level, and they want to win the Robertson Cup, right? But at the end of the day, there's only one team that gets to lift that cup, and I just think our daily habits are going to determine if we have a chance to be able to do that or not at the end.
Absolutely. And to wrap up this interview, the NA Showcase is quickly approaching. What are you looking forward to most with the Fairbanks Ice Dogs once you are there in Blaine, Minnesota?
Yeah, again, we have a really young group this year, and I think that'll attract the attention of some Division I and Division III colleges. And being there is something really special, and being able to play 3 games in 4 days against the other divisions is very unique and fun. And certainly building those relationships with not just the colleges and talking to them, but seeing some of the other coaching staffs and owners, management teams, etc., that you don't usually see throughout the year is really fun. And yeah, it's a tremendous event that I've been lucky enough to be a part of, and certainly excited for more fun there this year.
Absolutely. Dakota, thank you for taking the time to chat with me. We are excited for you, especially for your first upcoming year as the head coach of the Ice Dogs.
Thank you so much, Ava. I appreciate it.